Massive dueling rallies held on Miami Beach today as the war in Gaza rages on. Sky 10 over Loomis Park on Ocean Drive as both pro-Palestine and pro-Israel protesters gather for their demonstrations. And more than 12,000 people have died on both sides of the war.
And emotions are high for folks around the world, especially folks living right here in South Florida who have ties to those in Gaza. Local 10's Cody Weddle reports from Miami Beach.
A couple hundred very passionate protesters showing up to denounce the Israeli offensive in Gaza. There were also several dozen pro-Israel protesters who showed up in counter-protest. There were calls for a ceasefire, but also biting rhetoric on both sides.
What do we want? Ceasefire! What do we want? Now!
A call for a ceasefire in Gaza as Israel continues its ground offensive to root out Hamas.
And we're calling for Israel to commit a ceasefire and to give Palestinians their own state.
They went through a genocide and a Holocaust. They are creating a genocide and a Holocaust for the people of Gaza.
Hundreds of protesters marching down Miami Beach's Ocean Drive Saturday afternoon. Also calls to divest in Israel that local municipalities stop buying Israeli bonds.
We are directly funding genocide and slaughter.
Dozens gathering in counter-protest, holding Israeli flags. Sky 10 overhead at Loomis Park, catching a few intense arguments between the two sides.
They have mutilated, killed women, children.
Plenty of civilians are being hurt by the Israeli attack.
Because Hamas opened a war against us.
Name calling on both sides.
From the river to the sea.
Protesters chanting a slogan that recently led to the censure of Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Critics have said it advocates for the elimination of Israel as a state. When you say from the river to the sea, what does that mean exactly?
That means that the entirety of Palestine, which once belonged to them, will rightfully return to them.
So what should happen to the Jews that live there now?
They go back to where they come from.
Miami Beach police keeping the two sides separated to prevent any physical confrontations.
Ensure that everything goes safely, their right to peacefully assemble isn't infringed upon, and everyone can just go home at the end of the night.
And offshoot groups of protesters continue to sort of roam the streets here, chanting for several hours this evening. Thankfully, I did just speak to the police here in Miami Beach. They say there were no notable reports of violence or even major skirmishes. We're in Miami Beach. I'm Cody Weddle, Local 10 News.